As soon as it says this. This is Alex, the Beer Master. Welcome to my channel. Obviously, it's going to be baking with Aunt Patty and me. It is the stream is called New Year's Eve baking candy and what else it says here?
Baking and candy making.
And candy making. So that's what we're going to be doing. And Patty here is going to take the computer and put it next to her. Obviously, I'll be able to see if anybody jumps in, and I'll just have to, do that, and I'll invite people in. People want to join. I should have what's the word? I should have put this together last night, but I wasn't thinking. I think next time, if me and Aunt Patty decide to do this, I think I'm going to do it the day before. I'm going to set it up, and then I don't have to worry about it. So this way, we didn't have to do all that crazy time. So next time, if me and Aunt Patty do this again, I'm going to probably get this set up the day before because it'll be much easier. It seems like it was a pain in the ass. So that's what I'm probably going to do from now on when it comes to doing this here. Okay, so I am going to got a cookie here. It's a baking sugar cookie with
Sugar
bread cookie with sprinkles and stuff like that. That stuff's good.
All right, you gonna put that over here? Right there. You want to plug it in?
Yep, I'm going to do that. You know me. It's an addiction I have. Oh,
Hey everyone, I'm Aunt Patty, Alex's aunt, and right now I melted some chocolate, some milk chocolate and some white chocolate on a cookie sheet. I put the chunks of chocolate on the cookie sheet and then I put it in the oven for 10 minutes. So what happens is it melts the chocolate really nicely. Sometimes you can't trust the microwave because if you go a little too long, it dries out the chocolate and makes it hard. And that's not what you want with chocolate.
You want it to be nice and soft.
You want it to be nice and soft, and you want to make sure that it's nice and spreadable. And the thing about melting chocolate is once it's melted, you got to start working with it.
Hell yeah.
You don't want it to dry. So here I've melted the chocolate and I put in some peanuts. I put in some chocolate covered raisins. I'm going to put in some M&Ms, which is always nice.
It's going to be delicious.
And then to make it look a little festive, you can put in some green and red sprinkles, or you can put jimmies or sprinkles. However, I'm putting just a little bit of sprinkle sugar. You don't want too much because then it's going to be too sweet.
Yeah.
So I'm just putting a little red and green, and the chocolate smells really good. And chocolate's a little funny to work with. Like I said, you want to melt it right at the right temperature. I used a 350-degree oven, and I put it in for 5 minutes, checked it, put it in for another 5, because if you put it in too long, it becomes too runny to work with. So maybe I can just direct this over my tray here, and you can see it that we have. That's our finished product. The melted chocolate. I also swirled in some peanut butter. I put some peanuts, some M&Ms, and the 2 sprinkled sugars. And now I'm going to pop it in the fridge and let it harden up a little bit.
Hell yeah.
That way, once it's hard, we can go back and break it up and make a nice, it makes a nice presentation for a gift for someone's birthday or for a holiday. We have New Year's Eve coming up tomorrow, so we can break that up and put it on a tray when people, after they're done eating, they can have a nice little snack of chocolate. So we're going to put this over here.
So there you go, guys. The link is there. If you want to jump in and talk to Aunt Patty here and all that stuff, and me. So I obviously will hear it, and I will bring you up when you come up if you want to. Not during the show.
So that's our candy. Next, what we're going to make is a Scottish shortbread, which actually is a recipe from one of Alex's teachers when he was in school.
Yes, it is.
It's super simple. It's a super simple recipe, and it only has 3 ingredients. It's really delicious,
God, it's heavy.
and it's not real sweet. And shortbread, the reason for the name of shortbread, it has no yeast in it, so it doesn't rise like a bread. It's a short bread. It just is kind of sweet, but not too sweet. So you can even have it in Scotland. They like to have it with whiskey or with tea. They are tea drinkers and whiskey drinkers. And always remember, in Scotland, they spell whiskey without an E, so it's WHISKY. And on their shortbread, you can put different color sprinkles, or you can put just plain sugar. So I'm going to show you, I'm going to do it like with a holiday theme. So the first thing we're going to do, I have a pound of butter. So the ingredients are 1 pound of butter and 4 cups of flour, doesn't have to be sifted, and 1 cup of granulated sugar. So once you get this butter in here, and remember, when you're baking, you always want to use quality ingredients.
Hell yeah.
If the butter's not good, your final product, your final cookie's not going to be good, whatever it is, cake, cookies. And that's with any ingredients: flour, sugar, butter, vanilla, everything, eggs should be fresh. You don't ever want to use anything that's questionable, because your finished product will come out questionable. So right now, I'm getting all of the butter into the bowl.
So fun. I'm
I'm going
loving
to
it.
scrape. I melted it in the microwave. And again, I do it in short increments because I don't want it to turn soupy. I kind of just want it to be soft. I don't want it to be drizzly or soupy. I'm going to give my hands a quick rinse here.
This way we could, I'm going to put this on here so we don't have to worry about dying when we're talking.
Okay, you go ahead. Alex is going to do a little technical break here. He's going to plug the computer in so it doesn't die while we're live streaming.
Because we're not going to be paying attention.
Okay, go ahead. Make it snappy.
Thank you, Butte. Thank you, Butte. All right. Well, Aunt Pat will be back in a second. All right, let's see here. As you know, I'm addicted to this. I don't know why I do this, but I do for a reason. All right, let's put this over somewhere so it's not towards Aunt Patty. Go. There we go. And here we go. All right. I'm gonna make sure that's not on your. Oh, that's hot. I don't want that. Ooh. There we go. Okay. Can you help me here, Bang? This is a little bit.
Where's it have to go?
I want to move that wire out of it.
Okay, here we go. All moved.
All right.
All right, technical difficulties over.
Yes.
Next thing we're going to do is we're going to bring out our mixer, which I have a KitchenAid, and I have the paddle attachment on it. So I have my butter in the bowl, and I'm going to add the sugar, 1 cup of granulated sugar. We're going to add that in. Now we're going to cream that together. Now this dough is, you don't want it to mix for too long because you don't want your cookies to be tough.
No, you want it to be soft.
So I put it on low just to put that butter and that sugar together. Mix them together, incorporate the 2 flavors. And I pick up the speed a little bit because it's really important for the butter and the sugar to completely incorporate with each other. And this is a recipe you can use all year long. It doesn't have to be just for the holidays. You can use this all year long. It makes such a nice dessert. If you're having people over for coffee or tea, you cut the final product in little squares. So the thing is, you can make the portions small, And it's just a nice little treat. And again, it's not real sweet. So that's always nice too.
So what's up there, Kettlehead, my friend? Appreciate you. Obviously, you're at work, but yes, please enjoy the show either way on your lunch break or wherever you're at.
Now I have 4 cups of flour here, so that I've already pre-measured out. And again, I didn't sift them. And I'm going to just incorporate it a little bit at a time. And again, on the low speed. And I like to watch the dough. I don't want it to get too dried out as I put the flour in. With each incorporation of each tablespoon of flour, you can watch the dough start to mix and take in that flour, and that's what you want. You want a nice smooth dough, and it is going to be an actual dough. It's not going to be smooth per se. It's going to be a very solid dough because we're going to spread it out on a cookie sheet. And as I put this flour in, I'm watching the dough come together. And one thing about flour, when you're measuring flour, you always want to measure it in your cup and just scoop it into the cup and then cut it off with a knife. Just even it off with a knife. Don't pack it down. Too much flour will dry out your dough and dry out your cookies. All right, we're almost through this. And once I get it all mixed, although I think we're going to take a little break here because the dough is starting to cling onto the paddle.
Yeah, it's not what we want. No.
We don't want that. We want it to just nice and evenly, but you can see, I think you can see here that the dough is coming along really nicely. And, you know, we call it shortbread, and it really does have a little bit of a consistency of a bread dough. And I promise you, it won't be like bread, but
No.
The final product is really good.
It's like a texture of a cookie.
Yeah, it's kind of like a sugar cookie,
Yeah.
I would say, that texture.
Yeah.
All right. Just have a little bit more flour to put in.
And I just let you know, guys, Patty here, we got this recipe back in 2001.
Yeah, this is a recipe that I've been using for years.
Since my teacher. And I think Patty's done this prior to it, but once I started being obsessed with this stuff, when my teacher gave me the recipe, that's when me and Aunt Patty went and said, you know, we're going to make this stuff. I mean, because we used to eat it in class. Now, one time when we ate it in class, we had chocolate chip on it, or not with it. We didn't have it on it, but she put chocolate chips on top of it just to have with the shortbread. All right, I'm going to shut up and let Aunt Patty continue talking.
Yeah.
That's how it goes.
My opinion about that is a shortbread should have as least toppings as possible because it's not a real sweet dessert. If you want a sweet dessert, make a chocolate chip cookie or a sugar cookie, which definitely is sweeter than this.
Up there, Paul.
And right now the dough is coming together just the way I want it to. And when we put it on the cookie sheet, and I'm going to spread it out. I'm going to put some spray butter on my hands so I can spread it out. All right, let's see what we got here.
Hope you're doing well, Legendary Paul, and everybody in the chat. In the chat. The link is up.
I have my oven, as I said earlier, on 350, and this is going to bake for an hour. It takes a while, but it's not like bread. It doesn't have to rise, but you'll start to see when it's coming to the finished product, it starts to brown around the edges, and you don't want it to get too brown or overdone because then when you cut it, it'll crumble, and that's definitely not what we want. So
No.
I'm going to take this paddle off. I'm just rinsing my hands. I hate to have sticky hands.
And Patty's always like this when she does her baking, which is good. You don't want to. You want to be golden.
All right, I'm gonna bring my Alex. Can you give me that cookie sheet right behind you?
Oh, thank you. All right. Here we go, my friend.
Put that right here. So on my cookie sheet, I've put a sheet of parchment paper. I like using parchment paper. It makes for a nice base and a nice place for your cookies or your shortbread or whatever you're making.
What's up, there, luxury Rick
And then
Johnson?
when you're taking them off, they come off much easier and it doesn't ruin your cookie sheet. Your cookie sheet doesn't get any burn marks on it or anything that stains the cookie sheet. So I like using parchment paper, and I recently learned that you can reuse parchment paper
Oh,
if it hasn't. Now, in this case, I won't reuse this parchment paper because I'm going to be using the whole sheet. But if you're just, say, doing 12 cookies and you want to use it again, there'll be marks from the butter or the oil on the parchment paper. So in the next batch, you go around those circles and you can use that parchment paper 2 times. And it's a little more economical, and it's also a little more environmentally friendly that you're not making a lot of trash with your parchment paper.
Alex, are you sent to be working? Can you there's a comment stuff that you're seeing there. If you want to read that stuff too, if you want it, Patty. I'm talking about.
Oh.
Yeah.
I don't see it.
No, this right here.
Alex, you should be wearing your Pillsbury Doughboy.
Yeah, that's all the comments that you're seeing live right there.
He should be wearing his Pillsbury Doughboy.
Well, maybe next time. We were playing this for the past couple of weeks, but
We haven't had time to do it. So now today we had time to do it. And like I said earlier, baking's fun for any time. It doesn't have to be Christmas or New Year's or birthdays. Sometimes it's just nice to have a sweet treat. And the good thing about this recipe, again, it's 4 cups of flour, 1 cup of sugar, and 4 sticks of butter, a whole pound of butter. That the good thing about that is you can do it just in half. And that way you don't have to make the whole recipe. You can do it in half. Do 2 sticks of butter, 2 cups of flour, and a half a cup of sugar. Now I'm spreading this out, and I will show you once I'm done my finished product on here.
And the best part is this is live. Like you're basically seeing everything raw, like I've always done, and I will always do it because yes, a lot of people want to do it in the show and like make cuts. No, I don't want to do that. I want to make it raw. That's just how I roll. That's really the real me, right, Patty?
That is correct.
Yeah.
He wanted to do it like this, and I wanted to do it the other way where we would edit it, but this is how he does all his videos. So
not the videos. The videos I
not videos, but live streams. He does them live.
Yeah.
So that's fine.
Yeah.
I'm new to this game, so that's fine.
Maybe one of these days, maybe me and Aunt Patty will do an editing video, but when it comes to actually baking or eating or cooking, if I don't feel like doing a video, I like to just go live. It's just makes it more fun. And you interact with people. You interact with the people when you're doing the video too. But as you can see here, Aunt Patty, you can interact with everybody here. They're actually talking to you. It's basically a lot of fun. You're literally talking to the people. It's not like a comment section that you can comment back and say hello. You're literally talking to them and saying comments right now, right to their faces, which is cool. You know what I mean, Aunt Patty?
Yep, that is very cool.
Well, this is new to you. Trust me.
Yeah, this is very new to me. Usually I'm in my kitchen baking or cooking by myself, but today I find myself, going live, and that's fun. I'm enjoying it.
Yes. This was a good, let's say this. It was a pilot episode.
Yes, our pilot episode.
So if it does well, we'll do more sometime in the future.
All right, so now I have the dough spread out. Let me just show you on my cookie tray. How can I? Oh, there we go. See? And it doesn't completely fill the entire cookie sheet, and that's okay. But I've kind of crimped around the edges so that it makes a nice square. And then we're going to take a fork and we're just going to poke holes in the dough, because a shortbread always has these little 4-prong holes in it. And it makes a nice design on the cookie, on the finished product.
Heck yeah. Perfect.
And it's just part of its history. And I like to honor the history of the shortbread.
And as Patty said earlier to me before we started going live, or at least a couple days ago, she was going to talk about the history of the shortbread, which she did when we first started, which is cool. She's been wanting to do that, so that's what we were doing.
And you have to remember, when people were starting out and making shortbread, whether it was 1700s, 1800s, supplies were limited. And they didn't have a Wawa where you could run and get an Entenmann's cake. You had to make your own cake and you had to make your own treats. And this is something that comes together real quickly. Now I'm going to go back to my sprinkles of sugar, of red and green sugar. And again, if it's not holiday time, you can just use regular granulated sugar. And then I just give it a little pat so it sticks to the dough. I'm going to show you when I'm done.
Yeah, this is just a beautiful product. Sorry that you guys can't be here in person. It'd be a lot more fun. But
yeah, we need smell-o-vision so you can smell how delicious, because I've already baked a batch of this morning.
Yes.
And the house smells like shortbread, and it's quite a lovely aroma.
I mean, as soon as I walk in, it's like every time Patty bakes, you walk in here, it smells like a bake shop. That's basically what we're saying.
So if you can see this, maybe I'll bring the computer over here so you guys can see how it looks with the sprinkles, and it's completely on the cookie sheet but not touching all the edges, and that's fine, but it does cover the parchment paper, and that's what you want. So now off it goes into the 350-degree oven, and we are going to set our timer for 1 hour. Now I set it for an hour, and everybody's oven is different.
Heck yeah.
So remember that. And I start to check it after a half an hour. I look at those edges and make sure it's not getting too dark or too brown. And then as it finishes up in that hour, I just take a peek in there and make sure it's not getting too dried out. Now I did a half batch earlier today, and I only cooked it for 38 minutes because it's a half a batch, so it's not as much dough. So keep that in mind if you do the half batch. So let me bring over what I finished this morning.
There you go, the lamp.
Okay. Here's our batch that I did this morning, and I'll just again lift this up so you can see it here on the tray. And I cut it into small squares, and you can make the squares any size you like.
There you go, all yours.
Another technical difficulty, but I don't know if you can see this tray that I put everything on, which makes a nice display when you're having company. Put on a little pedestal tray, and some I cut a little smaller and some I cut a little larger, as you can see. So And everybody, some people have a preference. They just want to bite, and other people want to have a bigger taste. So right now, we're going to try some of our product that we cooked earlier this morning and see how it tastes. You want to try?
Hell yeah.
Of course, he wants to try.
I've already tried it off there. Just.
So come in here
You.
and grab a piece.
Oh yeah.
Okay, and then to quote my favorite, one of my favorite chefs, Emerald, Rachel Ray, Julia Child, one of my very favorites. Bon appetit
Cheers.
and cheers.
Let me move this out of the way so we don't accidentally kick ourselves out. There we go.
So maybe we'll do this again. And in the meantime, I would just like to wish everybody a happy, healthy new year. And I hope you try our recipe.
Well, you're still baking, right?
Yeah, but that's going to be an hour. So that's the end of the video.
Ah.
That's the end. Okay, so just say, that's it. And then off we go.
Okay. This is Alex, Beer Master, and we'll see you all on the next live stream, the next video. Alex Beer Master signing out. Cheers, everybody. Well, I was gonna have people jump on in and everything.
They don't need to do all that.